Good morning, everyone. So yesterday I left off with, I read the chapter on the great inheritance. Today is the peak of destiny, and it's number 5, so I'll read 2 chapters and then shut that one down. So the next one after that is nothing is exactly as it appears to be. And that's what we are stuck in right now, is trying to prove things. But as we prove it, it's ending. So as you move into the age of Aquarius, whatever you're trying to prove is not going to exist. Hey, Danny Jackson. This is where a lot of people are caught up now. This is where lots of new things are coming, and this is where a lot of people are in confusion. And everything is supposed to heal and end, to go in the 4th dimension. The 3rd dimension reality is not going to really be important. Then you got to separate and get rid of that. Then you can move into the 5th dimension, and you have to get rid of the 4th dimension to be in this higher futuristic way of being. And you won't be relying on these old practices and beliefs and thoughts and feelings and all these other kinds of things. And this is where it's like, I just share knowledge. There's lots of things there that I have given that'll help you to move into the future. But everybody is still trying to prove things. I just want to mention the Pope heralded in the Easter celebration, and he kicked off. So I think the last Pope will be stepping up here to fulfill his journey of what needs to go on the planet to bring an end to the old and bring in the new. So there's really lots of things people need to go inside, make decisions to change and move on. There's lots of truths out there, and you have to figure it out. I spent a lifetime trying to do this, and I'm not trying to prove things anymore. Right now, North Node and Saturn are conjunct in Pisces, and there's a lot going on there affecting people. So I'm going to get into this peak of destiny. Color blue today if you're doing the violet flames, the blue color. I didn't bring the book, so I'm not reading that today. We remind you, the inhabitants of the late 20th and early 21st century Earth, that our purpose on this journey involves your destiny. We have spoken to you about the Book of Earth and how it can be accessed, where we, the Pleiadians, and many others can look at you on the flow of time. You are alive in each moment of the past, present, future, and can make a choice in each one of these moments. You are beginning to realize that Earth is consciously alive, aware, and connected to other great patterns, and that there are ways to figure out these patterns. This idea, when you come to understand it, will lead you to self-empowerment and self-discovery, perhaps even to peaks of your own destiny. Our destiny, of course, is ours, although there are collective destinies, imprints from the heavens, that may be called the grand avenue of time, and it is the collective destiny that inspires us. The ancients on your planet, from cultures all over the globe, understood that there was an imprint, a map in the heavens, and that much of this belt or zodiac depicted animals. Remember, we and others see Earth as a place where knowledge has been stored in all creatures, in everything. Animals hold and represent another form of knowledge, a way of transcending linear time. Animals do not count time the same way you do, therefore they experience the world in a different way. The ancients understood more of Earth's true purpose. They knew that there is order in all things, even in chaos, and that how humans handle chaos is a test to their ability to evolve and change. We ask you, this point, to reflect upon yourself for a few moments Ever since you have encountered our words and invited us into your life on this journey of change, what has happened? Reflect on the reality you have created and understood. It is a part of the process of change. Our words may seem innocent. We convey tales of the past, of cosmic knowledge, hidden secrets and mysteries. We offer words of encouragement and empowerment, as well as those addressing darkness, evil, and fear. Perhaps some of these ideas have created chaos within you. Perhaps your being, your thinking, and your life are changing. If so, then sit up straight, take a deep breath, and say to yourself, the journey is on. I am on the path to change. The key for all of you to understand is the path of change is unpredictable. When you invite new energies into your life and expand the way you view the world beyond a linear, prescribed manner, you begin to reach out sideways, backwards, and forwards, creating a different energetic pattern within your auric field. And you all have magnetic fields if only you would switch them on. As we said, your will, intent, and breath allow you to build the energy field through your body, expanding it into the ethers around you. Remember, the ether was understood by your ancestors and their markings of time and knowledge of the zodiac, and the heavens allowed them to function in a particular way. Perhaps they did not have all of your conveniences. However, we ask, what do these conveniences really do for you? We want to assist you to place greater focus on yourself, to claim your spirit, the flame of energy inside yourself, because this step is essential for your development. It is not an easy task to perform, yet the formula is the simple of all possible recipes. Simply combine your attention, your breath, and your will to align with your heart and your mind, the mind in your brain and the mind in your belly. Actually, by visualizing the wholeness of your being, you expand and fill your auric field, the bubble of electromagnetic energy around you, with who you are. This may be frightening at times because the process of unfolding to personal understanding and development sometimes seems littered with more junk in the cellar, the closet, or the old barn out back than you ever realized. You do not completely grasp that you store so much inside yourself, so many feelings, so many responses to everything that transpired in your life. You are a biological mechanism designed with impeccably and are being upgraded at warp speed by great electromagnetic and cosmic waves the Earth is now passing through in space. These waves imprint you with knowledge from the zodiac belt, the library that houses the ancestral records in this realm of existence. That's why I tell people about astrology. It's important. All systems have their belts of knowledge, which serves as another way of storing living data. You fill your belt of knowledge constantly with every thought you think. When you breathe with relaxation during the unfolding changes, you can connect with the vibrations that accommodate rapid, accelerated change. We give out this vibration and seek those who are willing to transmute themselves and raise the great task of becoming energized, vibrating beings in a world filled with poison, toxins, and fears. These poisons come home with you in the grocery bag and are sold on every street corner. Will you recognize them and create your own frequency? This is part of the great task that lies ahead. We ask you to dive deeper into yourself and see who you are. Where are you going to take yourself? What are you going to do with the new vistas and views of the world? The change that is upon you, like a fan unfolding, is just the beginning. Soon the fan will begin to move faster and faster, and ideally you will learn to know who you are and to find yourself during the process of psychic acceleration. where you become more astute and aware. The more you are willing to go inside and address who you are, to unite the flame in your core of your being, and to keep it burning with faith that you are on a path of purpose, the more you will become a pioneer altering the paradigm that has been locked and frozen for thousands of years. Perhaps you are a ray of light, and from the quiet of your own home you melt the polar cap ice, and in the preservance of your own being, you change the world. We ask you to be steadfast and quiet of the moment, because your power lies in your very breath, feeding the idea and beliefs that you are a magnificent biological structure. You are timed, coded, designed, and planned to be activated to the heights of your ability in the now. This now, of course, is but a moment in time, a fleeting moment from our point of view. We have spoken of it as a junction between 1987 and 2012, the bridge to the 21st century. We mentioned earlier on these tales were about the truth. We have learned that it is important to tell the truth from the beginning, from the middle, and from the end. This is essential for you to understand. It is one of the tests you now face. What is galactic truth? Who is out there? Who are they? Where did they come from? Why are they here? And what do they want? Who is telling the truth? Why do all these stories conflict? Why are there so many gods? Which God is God, and whose God is God? Seeking answers to galactic truths will launch an era of new thinking, and this is the territory you must map. You are pioneering this new territory, yet is really no different than the territory your ancestors pioneered. They hacked their way across continents and built roads, houses, farms, and cities. In the process of exploration, they discovered special energy vortexes, just as you are being led to natural bay or watershed areas of consciousness. If you imagine your globe in this ripe fullness, you will see there are natural waterways and harbors around most large cities. These areas are always entry points onto the land where there is safe harbor for ships, where ideas and commerce begin to grow. This form of development is how you as a culture experience yourself. It brings the promise of growth and is how you learn. We offer you a metaphor for what your ancestors were dealing with, so you can understand what you as humankind are to explore in the vastness of the so-called invisible, uncharted world. What harbors are you drawn to? What roads will you build, and where will you pioneer? Where will you place your homestead? And will some say, hey, don't live there, that's dangerous territory? Where will the safe zones be? Will you cluster again in groups like your ancestors did? Or will you modern map the territory in a new way, creating a new grid pattern through which humankind can interact? In this moment, take a deep breath, breathe into the very bottom of your lungs. Hold for a moment, then exhale, completely emptying your lungs. Imagine your breath spreading out like a mist of energy filled with your intent. You can use energy any way you want. Remember, how you begin the journey and what intent you have will open the path of discovery that you will tread upon. So once again, imagine in your mind's eye the numerical number 8 or infinity sign placed in the center between your brows. Activate that image as a part of yourself. When we speak to you of the test of the ages and cycles of time, imagine a pulsating mandala of energy, a kaleidoscope of shapes and colors taking form there. Feel it. It can appear to be another eye, an eye looking back at you, black in the center like your pupil, contracting in and dilating out. The iris is full of maps of your inner being. Use this inner eye to connect to your inner self. And as we address your development towards the peak of destiny, which is where you can go with it, apply what we are sharing with you to facilitate the task of living in these accelerated changing times. From our point of view, there is only one place you can go in this moment, and that is inside yourself. The changes that our world and energy bring forwards allow you to know more about yourself and your patterns of behavior. The way in which you map reality have become comfortable, keeping you where you are and also allowing you to feel stuck or struggling. As you open to our energy, these patterns will begin to shatter. Why, Pleiadians? You may ask, do they need to shatter? Well, we will say this with the kindest intent. You are stubborn to change. Your lessons keep occurring and they speak to you loud and clear, and yet, blessed be, you cherish humans, still have difficulties breaking out of ancient ingrained patterns of sameness, of mediocrity, because you think, this is how I always did it. You do not seem to realize that everything you do creates reaction and has consequence because everything is connected. One of the greatest abilities that we have acquired as time jumpers, able to access the Book of Earth and the Book of Existence, is to translate to you the energies that opens the library on Earth. As a result, you can be imprinted with this energy. Then begin to access everything for yourself. How you get to the place of knowledge is to know yourself. What you do with your knowledge is yet to be seen. Feelings are your guide. Trust your feelings and learn to express them, and do not blame anyone for how you feel. Be yourself, observe yourself, look to understand any crisis you have been in or will be in. Crisis creates an opportunity designed to shatter patterns of rigid behavior which do not fall away simply because you get up on a quiet morning and say, today I will give up everything. That is a logical decision. The change we speak of occurs through your feelings, often through creating a crisis where you must use your will, heart, and mind to redesign your life. Crisis shatters your impenetrable field, which is like the casing around the young seed. You must learn to trust that. When the casing opens, you will have to sprout to shoot up. Not all seeds sprout, and in all fairness, not all humans grow to the fullness of their capabilities. However, they all do sprout. All humans, no matter who or where they are, or what they are experiencing, in every moment throughout all the eons of time, add to information in your great zodiacal belt of knowledge that house what happens in this realm of existence. You do not have to rush out to buy books to study these subjects. Use your imagination. Use your imagination. Go inside yourself and find out how you feel about what you are currently creating. If you have had emotional experiences recently that has opened you up to deeper feelings, congratulate yourself. Do not judge your emotions. However, we will remind you that feeling of victimhood, anger, and blame must be very carefully watched. It is fine to feel anger, however, do not blame another for how you feel. When you hold on to feelings of anger, you never accept responsibility for the part in the drama, which then create an invisible storm that sits on the coast of your energetic field, affecting your physical body. The resentment and all the emotions you stuff related to your family, lovers, friends, employers, employees, act as volcanoes, hurricanes, tornadoes, tidal waves, and typhoons, blowing through your energy fields because your unexpressed feelings feed these thought forms. In order to know yourself, you must ask, how do I feel about this? Why have I created this? You must give up numbness to become very aware. There are patterns of destiny, and you are going to reach a peak of human destiny when you truly begin to vibrate with sovereignty and self-knowledge. Your technology world may assist and develop, however, it may also steer you away from it. You will access greatness by learning how to interact with others, seeing others as mirrors, and knowing that you attain the trueness of your own being through the connections with your family and friends. Technology in many ways isolates and compartmentalizes you. In the last 500 years of the Piscean age, it has certainly separated you from everything. You have become meaningless marvels and mindless wanderers. This separation is the shell casing from which you are emerging. Some of these shells come from the childhood, some are also related to other lines of time. As you get to know yourself, use the tools of your breath, will, and intent, and say, I want to know who I am, to have peace with who I am, to accept myself. I am willing to change, to look at myself and admit this is how I am. I am not going to judge myself. Each year in this 25th year period has an acceleration and allows you to enter more completely into the human inheritance, a state of being that contains the ability to see through your bodies, to be clairvoyant, clairsentient, and to have natural telepathic connections with all life, including with gods. When everyone has achieved human potential, it will be a very different world. Who will need newspapers? Will you keep records of your newfound abilities, or will you understand that everything is imprinted in the zodiac, the ethereal, the maps of the heavens, and the living and breathing in each moment are the records you keep? Eventually you will be moving from the receptive mode, that is receiving ideas from the cosmos and being imprinted by them, to broadcasting ideas out. Around the year 2012 is your peak broadcast period. What will you broadcast? Ideally, all of the work you do today will allow you in 2012 to feel free, unencumbered, and in a vibration of love and forgiveness. So that was 13 years ago. You will embrace forgiveness not because you are generous and kind, outlooking and transgressions of others, but because ultimately your forgiveness will truly be backed by wisdom, an understanding that when anger and blame are in your field, they are the vibrations you continue to receive. You must learn to end the wars in your world by ending them in your minds. That is the true bridge to the 21st century. The peaks of destiny call asking you to unfold into a being that is magnificent. Therefore, you must trust that when the casing breaks, you will sprout in the springtime of consciousness before beauty actually unfolds, just as during the early springtime of your year, the earth can look bleak and young. Yet you trust in change of the seasons, no matter how tumultuous they are, because they appear to be an order in nature connected to the rotation of the earth in relationship to movements of the sun and moon. Rain, wind, and fire awaken what has been dormant. You take nature for granted, yet if you look into the miracle of it, you will see yourself, for you are a human seed sprouting. Perhaps just before your casing shell breaks, you feel the tightness of the dark, confined place. You may feel as if the casing will suffocate and destroy you. Will you allow your seed to sprout, to die inside, because the casing feels tough and hard? The truly intelligent seed helps create the weather. The seed propagates the earth, knows themselves very well, and sends out frequencies to call in what they need, as long as the people around them love the land. If people stop loving the land, the seeds and the plants have a harder time utilizing their own vitality during the great weather changes you are now experiencing. As you get to know yourself, there is much to examine: what you eat, your focus of intent, how you deal with all the new discoveries and sudden changes that are occurring everywhere, not just in individual lives, but on the mass scale. Remember that violence will be sold to you. So find those violent and angry places inside yourself and set them free. Think of situations and people that still cause an angry reaction in this and other lifetimes. Then acknowledge wherever you happen to find this feeling. Now take a deep breath and using your conscious intent, fill your whole body with the vibration of peace and love. Set free those you still hold as prisoners of anger in your etheric field. Take another deep breath and breathe into your field. Let those people know that they are no longer prisoners of your mind. As you release them, feel the results of the clearing in your field. Those who remain offer an unseen lesson and are the ones you truly need to set free in order to purge vibrations of anxiety, fear, resentment, or blame from your being. Those beings as energy must realize their freedom as well, so tell them, yes, it is time to go. You are out of my field, fly free, no longer holds you to blame. You realize there are lessons to be learned. So I too can continue to grow. Do this, release now, and feel the resulting vibrations change, move through your fields. Do not be afraid of purging or detoxing. Heaven knows that you are living in a toxic world. Everything is toxic. Cockroaches have been living in and adjusting to the toxic world for millions of years. They have survived. We have often made the joke and said that you could model yourself after them. The insect world is far more adaptable than you. They also communicate by creating a frequency and do not need to write down their words. Animals are physically connected and can deliver messages, which is why they were revered by the ancients. Who knew the animals had parts of the zodiac as their provinces? There have always been those who could access the great libraries of the mind, the libraries of the ethers, and you are now building a bridge from one core of your being out into the ethers where you will get to know who you really are. If detoxification or purging takes place in your life, allow yourself to go deep into the feelings to discover what you must give up. The sprouts give up its protective shell. What have you been using to protect yourself? Usually protections take on a form of isolation that keeps you separate. Seeds know they are in the ground and look forward to a time when they must burst their way through the dark soil and attract the rays of the sun. They know they are called forth by the sounds of the insects and scurry across the earth. The insects remind the seeds below the surface through the sounds, much like ancient drumming, that it is time to come forwards. Seeds, like all things, respond to sound. The world is full of sound, some of which you hear and some you do not. As moderns, you listen to artificial sound created from instruments you have constructed, yet you would get more mileage out of listening to the sound of nature, aligning with the earth and going deeper into the mysteries and teaching of her technology. Some of you scoff at this advice. You think the bugs and the snakes will bite and that it's scary out in nature and something dark and unknown will grab you. You might even get abducted. Not enough. You truly appreciate the natural world. You want to visit state parks rather than making your own backyard a park or your own community's distinguished places of beauty. Turn off your motors, your air conditioners, and put on your walking shoes and get outdoors and take a holiday in nature. Pay attention to all the creatures of earth, insects, birds, creepy crawlers that walk and tumble on the four legs, for they create a vibration that can help you bridge the gap to intuitive living, which is the way they live. Once you have cleared your field of anger and blame, open the intelligence in the ethers around you, and their vibrations will help shift you into a new awareness of living. If you can grasp the idea that you live in a significant world and that you affect it by how you feel and what you think, then you can begin to change your experience in the most miraculous way. Awareness begins as a desire, which grows like a seed that shoots up from the ground and follows an innate pattern. You each have a pattern inside you inherited from your ancestors, their abilities, tendencies, hopes and wishes, and fears. You must get to know the inside yourself. You may find that you do not need certain patterns anymore, junk in the cellar or the attic, dark and nasty stuff. When you throw it out, do so with love. Your junk may be someone else's treasure. In the house cleaning of who you are, you will discover that you have certain feelings or more abilities than were ever acknowledged. Many of you will find that you are already switched on, that you have had these intuitions all along, although no one helped you understand them. Perhaps you were afraid of what you saw or were told to be quiet about it. Remember, many of these knowings are not necessarily solid, static, defined events. This unfolding of change and getting to know yourself will accelerate your energy field, which will begin to connect up with the field of others. You put out your own radio wave just like the sun. Actually, you are becoming like the sun. The sun and moon are telepathic modulators. They affect your thinking. The cycle of light and dark are charted through time, and just as you turn on the lamp at night to light the darkness, so do the sun and moon. These bodies affect you in a way, light on, light off. The light and the dark modulations send information and energy. When you explore the invisible territories of consciousness, you will set up a camp in certain areas of thinking because this energy will sustain your field. You will find as you explore everything about yourself, both light and dark, that these processes will accelerate a great shift towards the exploration of light and dark on the planet. All cards will be put on the table. All secrets and hidden mysteries will be revealed in 2012. This is the need so that the final decision, the final council of frequencies can be achieved. Remember, by the year 2012, your task will be transmit whatever vibrations you have become into the horizon of existence. At the Galactic Conference, there are those who wait for you to march on stage and see your presentation. Many lobby to create a certain delivery, therefore much shuffling occurs around this great presentation, similar to the political shufflings that occur in all branches of business and in the world management team. Imagine that activity happening vibrationally. As we have said, there are beings, humans and otherwise, who want to manage your vibration. Remember that abdication of your thinking and psychic abilities is how your frequency has been managed. Over and over again, that is the test in the Book of Earth. Will this batch of humans living on the unique teaching sphere, a resplendent storehouse of knowledge, will they use the sphere of life to build a bridge of knowledge from one age to another? Or will they once again give away their power because of fear? Your DNA is altering and changing as every breath you take affects the cells of your being. You do not have to rush out and have yourself enhance. Although a little body of energy work will certainly speed up the process. Breathing in the moment and using your intentions will activate your inner power. Call in your goddess, the source of light, the feminine energy, for she is truly missing in the imbalance of your world. She can help you live in balance as male and female beings, understanding that your ancestors spoke to the gods and knew that they took many forms, that they were multidimensional shapeshifters, existing sometimes as humans or as animals sometimes, taking the form of snakes, serpents, dragons, and reptiles. The ancient legends are full of tales of dragons and their ability to merge with the mineral kingdom and their preference for crystalline structures. They flew in the heavens, they swam in the oceans, they walked on the earth. They were your real ancestors, however. If you read books about these creatures, you might think that they were imaginary because you do not see them in your world today. Remember, your ancestors did not live in an electrical, separated, meaningless world. They lived with nature. A free biological technology of spiritual energy was around them. Energy that had its own channels to surf, its own ritual realities. Your ancestors understood, and your animals remember. Now you must learn to implement this knowledge. It is time to come forwards as a magnificent biological structure. As you read our words, think of your favorite flowers, birds, and hear the birds calling the flowers and the plants to grow. The animals of the world and the sounds they make, the sounds of nature, are calling you forth as well. When you replicate these sounds on tapes and in movies and videos, it is never quite the same, because you cannot replicate nature. It is essential that you explore the vibrations of nature. Your technological advance divert you in actuality from the truest understandings of who you are. Technology cannot replicate nature, just as cannot replicate love. These two experiences, nature and love, are gifts that you can only seek out by knowing yourself and trusting the world around you. Using the love vibration of relationship to other living beings will teach you how important it is to love yourself. These are easy words to hear, but they are difficult words to truly grasp. Many of you are great givers of gifts. How good are you at receiving? If the idea of having others do for you, give love to you, take care of you, help you out of the goodness of their heart is frightening, then perhaps you need to open up to this idea. It is fine to be self-sustaining, a prime supporter, a provider for yourself. However, do not shut out others in the process. You will only get to know who you are by surrounding yourself with other people. As we have said, reality mirrors itself, and without other people, what will you use for your mirrors? Remember, you chose when you were born, your own divine moment. You mapped yourself through eons of existence, and then by some fixation of reality you forget. You forget so you can live. Periods of living with forgetfulness have their tests within corals of being, and now the corals are being knocked down because the winds of change are here to disperse your thinking, your perceptions, your ideas of yourself. You must learn to believe in your own uniqueness, your ability to create, for genius is sprouting inside you. It is important to love yourself and love what has happened in your life, to vibrate with a frequency of acceptance and understanding, to find the lesson within experience. This attitude will create wellness in your being, for loving yourself enhances your immune system. Change your cells and allow you to become immune to toxicity, because the frequency of love is the most powerful force in existence. When sharing ideas with you, we use an opportunity to trigger your consciousness into deeper exploration. As you read our words, understand that within them are hidden meanings and codes, like the hidden meanings and codes in the rays of the sun. Language holds a multitude of avenues of expression and understanding. There are codes everywhere, and as you expand your consciousness and discover the uniqueness of each individual in their own experience of creating the world, you will see language and personal expression in a whole different light. Get to know yourself, believe in yourself, claim a code of integrity based on responsibility, accountability, and reliability. Remember, responsibility is your ability to respond to living. Deal with what you create, because honesty will be required by all. In the midst of understanding yourself, build your foundation on love. It is your calling card, your identity card. As you explore the corridors of time, the streams of existence that call you to understand more of who you are and to awaken to a greater membership of living, many lessons are at hand, so we suggest that you follow the impulse of day-to-day living that fit in with your standard. Use your will and intent to call for the mysteries of the Earth story to be revealed through all people and their legends. Then you must learn to trust your whole body and ask, does this fit? Is this a spin on what to think and believe? Remember, the truth is important, and the truth is always based on your experience and perspectives. As you open to who you are, you will open to many possibilities. Your blood is as rich as gold. It is a vitality of love that moves through your being, the blood of creation, the design of living biological beings. Everything will come alive, and understand frequency will be the key. Remember to keep your own frequency as you explore the frequencies of your ancestors. Ground yourself in common sense of living and learn the day-to-day lessons. You can change into a beautiful, vibrant human being. So let the seed inside you sprout and send your roots down deep into existence. As a human being, know that you are here to live, and that everything you meet in your day-to-day experience is part of the lesson in living. You can turn your lessons into toxic poison, or you can find the frequency of love inside yourself. Turn all situations into a loving lesson of opportunity. It is all up to you. In the Book of Earth, a probability exists where diamonds are found on the sides of streams. They have been dredged up from the earth and are there for the picking if you have the courage to cross the brambles and swamplands and enter the dark underground tunnels you must journey through along the way. We ask you to consider taking the journey in which you find the diamonds, where opportunity is multifaceted and glitters, showing you your wealth as a creator. As you expand your field of perception, you will know why some of your ancestors, when they confronted the witches and the black sheep and the renegades, forgot to use love and used destruction instead. Fear was present then, and fear is with you again today, although this time you are not going to buy it. You are becoming wise, dear friends, trust that. So maintain your wits and your humor, and see yourself as purposeful beings. Love yourself and feel the fans unfolding. If and when you go to sleep at night, you feel like looking into the Book of Earth, make an intention. Then cloak your body in a field of life based on love, so you feel protected, grounded, and safe. Next, follow the spiral of light into the ethers to see if you can read from the book. It is a vast book with many lines of time that splinter and diverge into separate directions. Long ago, there were one or two trunk lines, and they began to fragment over the ages. As every age creates a change, now as you approach another change of the ages, the lines are ready to move. The webs will get very crowded as more and more lines occur. Imagine weaving a huge fabric that began with 2 or 3 strands of thread, and then begin to grow and grow and grow. If all the lines stayed separate, then the thread would not weave together and the fabric will fall apart. Because once there is that much fabric, it must interweave and entwine to make new tapestries of being. We ask you to know yourselves. In so being, the energy of creation will honor you, connecting you to the families of living, to the family of light, to those who choose to believe that there is significance and purpose in all existence. Embrace these ideas and prepare yourself to go much deeper into a journey where you will become the true healer of your planet. As you understand the power of love, the power of surrender, the power of compassion, you truly are connected to your frequency, will ignite each other and electrify the night like fireflies on an early summer evening. We remind you that there is a pattern, a purpose. Alone you each hold light, together the light clusters and makes patterns. Trust that whatever you are dealing with, whatever doorway to crisis you experience, it is leading you to a greater lesson in living, where ideally the power of love is what you learn. Forgive and broadcast your excitement to be alive. The next chapter I'm going to get into is nothing is exactly as it appears to be. So I hope that's really helping you to understand. You have to sit in your darkness, in your bullshit. And I don't like people that run around and go love and light and, oh, namaste, oh, you're such a beautiful angel. I don't like that. Because they never want to look at their darkness. They never ever want to stop and say, hey, you know what? I made mistakes in life. I did all kinds of silly things. But they'll hide it on a shelf and they go around and they pretend they're healing and helping people. And they're just creating more dysfunctions and things. So this is where we have to own our stuff, and we got to go in. Like I said, you had 300,000 lifetimes before this one, and some of them you weren't a nice person. So you can't go around and pretend to be this angelic being. You have to learn how to go inside and face what is your truth. Only you can look at it. Only you live in this holographic machine. So I'll go into this one is nothing is exactly as it appears. And that's where we're all trying to prove something, and we get so caught up in it, we get lost for years chasing things. At this time in your personal development, as you build a bridge of the 21st century, a bridge that ideally will strengthen your inner knowledge and purpose, it is most essential for you to understand the territories to which you will be journeying, pioneering, and traveling. These territories are uncharted for you and do not have signposts, yet are not necessary new territory, because your ancestors and others have understood this terrain. You consider your concepts about yourself and the world as factual and wish all of the world to conform to what you have been told or what you choose to believe. This is a noble way that allows you to conduct yourself in the world. However, seasons change, and because you are on a cusp of great change for all of humankind, it is our intention to assist you to feel at ease with this change, which occurs on every level of existence and in every cell of your being. How you view yourself in time and what you have been taught to believe will both be crucial elements in building the bridge in your mind to traverse experience, to utilize this fleeting moment when humankind is being reorganized from its core to sprout into magnificence. If you can be nurtured to the outcome of your shells, and if you crack the casing of rigid beliefs that surround you, as those beliefs fall away, you will be transformed. This emergence is the healing work that all of you will perform over the next number of years. Getting to know yourself at such a deep level will allow you to feel at peace, to produce a vibration of being at ease. Even though you know the effects of vibrations and frequencies, sometimes you forget and slip into bouts of depression or bad moods. Or you project your anger into someone and then your patterns have to be shattered again. Seeing your fellow humans create one dire situation after another, have you wondered why people are creating so much toxicity in their lives? Well, consider the challenge in living and the intensity of emotional interactions are greater than ever. The choice for fear is also seems to be all around you, and this also is a part of your self-realization process. Your health and well-being must be your choice. The dips in life and so-called downtimes are designed to buff you, to take you into a car wash, to tune-up shop of life, so you will come out shining and running again. Many of you experience great fear when your bodies malfunction. Remember the prisoner of anger that you hold in the field. When it is most important to cleanse your field and to be grateful for who you are, for that is one of the tests you are born to master. Will you forget your lessons and be the grumbling victim holding the vibration that attracts more and more of its kind? Or will you trust the whispering of meaning, significance, and purpose that are awakening in all of you? What you do and think are connected to everything around you, the earth, the animals, the weather. You paint the landscape you experience day in and day out. So begin to paint a masterpiece of your lives, truly debunking limited thinking and fear as only options in living. How will you as a family of light achieve the vibrations to create a new song of humankind's existence? There is only one way. You will do it by changing your own life and by claiming health to be yourself. The releasing of anger is one way you can regain your health. You must pay attention to your physical vehicle and realize that it is changing and that all of humankind is changing. Your habits, the way you breathe, how you sit, the way you eat and sleep, all need to be reevaluated. It is time to change your schedule and let your body's calling be the guide. Like people bullies their bodies around. We hear about, parasites in the body, and we try to kill everything in our bodies. And we over cleanse to the point where we actually harm ourselves. And we really get out of balance. There should be only 2 times a year we should really cleanse. That's in spring and fall. And we should try to get our bodies strong and healthy. But we don't know those cycles anymore. And there's ways to get back into balance. And you need to let your body decide what it really knows to be healthy. As you claim yourself and build a bridge in this fleeting moment of opportunity, it's important to understand that evil cannot be eradicated. What you call evil has a purpose, and sometimes the same tool can be utilized to access either light or dark energies. We have referred to the dark side of living as the family of dark. Over the years, we have joked saying, no one writes, "Dear Pleiadians, thank you so much for mentioning us. I am a member of the family of dark." Everyone claims membership and kinship to the family of light. We use names because you like names. You are coded for sound and words, and so our words make sense to you, and you say, yes, that sounds good. That fits my understanding of reality. Remember, words always mean more than what we say and what you hear or see. Words are really layers of symbols and can be used to convey hidden meaning. Your ancestors frequently used the symbols of stars, suns, moons, serpents, and their pictorial depictions. In the last 100 years or so, the archaeologists have uncovered ancient metal statues from the ruins of past civilizations where metalwork had not yet been developed. Many of these statues and statuettes depict strange beings wearing helmets adorned with circles and triangles, and with serpents on their helmets and in their hands. Perhaps you believe that your language no longer contains such symbols. When you begin to understand frequency, your vision will change, and you will see plans within plans and meanings within meanings. Significant living will unfold to greater extent. Synchronicities describe a meaningful unfolding of events that are experienced without apparent order, a so-called divine intervention. When these experiences can be understood in terms of their connections to the ethers, how you create reality, how your multidimensional selves and guides are all in accord, you will then be able to remap yourself into a whole new vista of living. It is important to understand the reasons why you may be receiving messages through your body about your health. Your body is the easiest way for spirit to talk to you when you will not listen. Signs, symbols, and messages are all around you, and you must learn to interpret them. Your body is working with you, not against you. And right now, no matter what it is doing, your body is assisting you to learn something. Perhaps you are speeding up or slowing down. Do not judge or allow yourself to feel lousy. If you feel lousy, get in touch with it and really feel lousy. And then when you start to feel better, energize the thought, feel better. Learn to express the feelings that come up from inside you, and in this way you can be your own healer. Energy exists around you, and if you would let it in, it would cleanse and revitalize your body, no matter how toxic the world may be. Apply this concept is a huge test to pass and a gigantic Grand Canyon of an idea to bridge. No matter how toxic the world is, you will detoxify it by creating the most valuable substance in existence, a love that you can generate for free if you only would get on with the task. We remind you of these concepts because you must be healthy journeyers. Fully aware of your body is here to teach you lessons. You are not here for someone else to save you. You take lessons in driving cars and how to cook gourmet food. However, you do not really study the ways and the means of affecting your physical body. Your ancestors had a greater understanding of the body than you currently do. For one thing, they knew that everything growing around them, the green plants, the vegetables, the fruits, affected them. They saw the plants as more than simply food to offset hunger or to fill an empty belly. Everything you grow has a vibration, and by eating it, you become one with the vibration. Some of the vibrations are compatible and others are not. However, you select your food based on how good it tastes and not on its vibration. All plants and animals are vibratory beings, just as you are. Your body is now going through a fortifying process that affects your cells because of the energy coming through the cosmos of electric pulses, photons, solar flares, magnetics, and electronic waves. You are electromagnetic beings. Your brains are filled with magnets. As electrical and magnetic field shifts, your body is deeply affected. Now you can call 911 and say, "Help me, save me, fix me. Stick something in my body so I don't have to deal with this." Once in a while, emergency help may indeed be life-saving or life-altering. However, calling 911 is not always the answer. When you are in a health crisis, you can bring spirit into form by understanding that a test is occurring concerning your parameters, your beliefs, your ideas about living. Let the old structure crash and crumble and imagine that you are like a set of Tinker toys or Logos, which can be dismantled and rebuilt. You can do the rebuilding through love by accepting the changes happening in your life. When you are ill, you are often physically very open because the field of energy around you is shattering, and your beliefs about the world no longer work. You often become ill by either putting storm in your field and not cleansing them, or by refusing to change. Your field then cannot withstand these great pulses of energy because you resist, rather than allowing the energy pass through your field and body, which creates change. When you stick with the same old routine, acting like a bull pounding its hooves, bellowing and refusing to move, then the resistance force grows stronger and stronger. Energy both follows your command and controls you depending on how you use it. You are all healers, here to heal yourselves and to manifest healing vibrations, so the plants, animals, and earth can feel the vibration running through the land. Many so-called witches in ancient times were simply those who understood the plants and as midwives and herbalists were sought out because they knew which plant would alleviate specific ailments. If you listen to plants, you will learn that they symbolically represent various parts of the body. As you allow more energy to enter your body, as you use the numerical 8, a sign of infinity, over your third eye, you will learn so much more and truly begin to relax and change with unfolding times. Areas you formerly found boring will become fascinating because you now understand the information and will wonder how you could have missed it earlier. The cells of your body are timed to awaken. Everything is on a timeline all the time. Areas are formerly found boring will become fascinating because you now understand information, will wonder how you could have missed it earlier. The cells of your body are timed to awaken and know you are unfolding rapidly, blossoming to the fullness of your being. As you blossom, we ask you to heal yourself, to allow the energy that is around you to sustain you as you forgive and you let go. Family of Light is here to set precedents and create options to show alternate ways, not to declare one way as the only way. No dues, club memberships, certificates, approvals, or graduation diplomas are required. You simply live creating a vibration, a standard of living that astounds those around you. Many people who do not understand the time are afraid of the power running through humankind today. So they perceive some people with power as being arrogant. Be cautious of this fault as you unfold to the power of healing and the energy that is within you. Be sincerely gracious. Do not snub or look down at those who have not yet discovered their abilities, because the energies are here for all people. All of you who have made the discovery are to inspire others to do the same. At this time on Earth, you are part of a very special collective of humans. Each and every one of you in every corner of the globe come here to experience and to contribute to the vibrations that would be broadcast during this fleeting moment of time. You are families of light, family of dark, simultaneously existing together, supporting and allowing each other to play out your own dramas. Family of light, do not worry about the family of dark, for they will take care of themselves. The more you worry, the more likely you will end up at their reunion in 2012. Actually, it will not be such a bad thing. You would find that they are similar to you. Do you think family of dark worries whether you will end up at your reunion? They cannot even conceive of it. You are engaged in frequency polarizations like teeter-totter crazily going up and down, or a battle where you are each afraid of the other. The light is afraid of understanding the dark. The dark is afraid of understanding the light. What are light and dark? What did the ancients think of their difference? We see that as you heal yourself and make peace with what is light and what is dark in your life, you'll begin to understand that what the ancients knew. The ancestor lived with the forces around them, sometimes for long periods of time. Those forces would disappear, then reappear from the heavens, coming through the dimensions or through people's pineal gland. There again to interact. From every culture, there are stories and legends of these beings flying in the sky in all sorts of vehicles, imaginations, legends, and myths. Why do you believe certain depictions of your ancestors and scoff at others? For recognizable pictures, you say, yes, that is a bison, that is an antelope, here are crops, and that is a fire. You pretend that the inexplicable ones are foolishness, and ancient pop art or science fiction on a wall. Yet as you look around the world, you will see that yesterday's science fiction is becoming today's reality. Many science fiction writers are in actuality great seers and visionaries who are able to perceive probable futures and lines of times where events exist. If this seems preposterous, remember that every thought you think creates a reality somewhere. Thoughts cluster together and exist with the frequency and aliveness, a velocity and vitality that you do not understand. Yet you will very soon, for understanding will continue to unfold in you, linking together symbols, signs, inner meanings, and codes that you will find at the core of all knowledge. Mathematics and abstract language holds a key. All modern-day science, whether traditional or quantum, is based on mathematical principle. What is behind the theory and numbers in math? Can theory really be proven, or is it simply a pathway, a cluster of consciousness that appears to work in an abstract and occasionally is seen as fortifying the 3D reality? Humankind will begin to expand its abstract thinking, and old abstract language of mathematics, upon which your science is based, will be seen as limited. Your modern day science have turned the nature of existence into something extremely complex. Once they understand the codes and simplicity in numbers, the new vista will open to them. The universe is coded in simplicity of your cells and in nature. This will be made clearer by cloning. Finally, your scientists are declaring we can clone sheep. This is really no big deal since humans have been cloned for a long time. Ancient manuscripts, including the Christian Bible, say that man was made in God's image. Perhaps this reference will mean something different to you once you understand cloning. Perhaps the original humans were cloned from beings you call gods. Your science has much to discover about cloning because you do not factor in the life of spirit. It is possible to replicate life. The question is, will spirit, the vital force, that flame of energy inside, inhabit a clone? Experimentation with cloning has occurred for millions of years. Remember, you are an ancient race. We have asked you at various points to focus on different segments of time. In the now, what is happening with your body, your attitude about it, your initiation into being a healer. Being a healer allows you to reinterpret what you believe happened to you, and as a result, your body shifts within the energy fields around you as you begin to clean out the old movies, videos, fairy tales that you still build your life on. Allow the images to be released and see beyond the now. We want you to imagine a bridge to the 21st century, while you also hold on your mind the last 500 years of history back to Renaissance area. Feel the results of great change that transpired on your planet. How over time people began to build in numbers to the late 20th century, 6 billion humans. Remember, it is this particular period that introduced the education to new ideas of separation from the whole, resulting in insignificant living. Now reach further back in your memories to about 1,000 years ago, a time in the Middle Ages, and then further still to the time of the Dark Ages, which prevailed from AD 500 to 1000. 500 years before that marks the beginning of the Pleiadian cycle, with this seed of limit thinking, where compromise and political chicanery were the rule. The mysteries and teachings of the significant living were overshadowed by disbursements of energy from the Roman Empire, the old world order. Holding these sections of time in your mind, realize that all preceding ages of 2,200 slices of time hold lessons as well. Can you imagine that your ancestors live in a slice of time that you are looking to heal, refurbish, re-experience, and energize? Approximately 500,000 years ago, energies visited your planet and are returning today. Of course, these beings existed before the time and have been returning since then. However, your lessons in living are always similar no matter which piece of time you examine. The ancients, your living ancestors of Earth, fill their stories and myths with reports of battles in the heavens, of flying dragons and serpents and balls of light, and with gods who fought with sound and fire and lightning, with gods who created energy that could not be understood. These beings who came through the heavens are part of the Book of Earth. Indigenous cultures hold sacred their celestial stories, claiming kin to various star systems in the heavens. This ancient knowledge was passed down when the most important of abstract truth were etched on the walls and the tablets in symbolic form for you to decode today. The snake is a predominant symbol used all over the world, adorning the thrones of popes, pharaohs, kings, and queens, royalty of every continent, as well as tribal chiefs and shamans, both ancient and modern. It is also a symbol of your medical profession. The image of the serpent has been covertly woven into every aspect of your life without you understanding its true meaning. The image of the snake holding or biting its tail is a symbol of the goddess of her creation of life. The snake is coiled in a shape of a circle or oval or vulva, and the entryway into the feminine organ of life. These symbols exist everywhere on the planet. Your ancients understand the power of fertility and sexuality in relationship to the gods, as well as what it's meant to be in the body. Knowing what the body did, that it could produce life or illness, experience both sensations of ecstasy and great pain. Religious structures, and actually many buildings, both ancient and modern, are adorned with secret symbols of fertility. Oval windows in churches and great steeples on top of reminiscence of your own sexual organs. Why is it these structures are often topped with crosses? Remember, the cross is an ancient symbol to mark a way, and in some traditions, the crossroad depicts where energies meet. The witches were said to gather at crossroads because power was amplified and exchanged there. The cross is also an antenna. When it was used to crucify people, it broadcast pain into the ethers in order to expand your perception. Symbols and ideas need to be considered in a very neutral way. For some of you have far too many attachments to what you believe is truth. Truth is based on perspective, and ideally, as your perspective changes, you will discover new-founding truths. We purposely direct you to your body towards creating a fountain of health and following the impulse that leads to healthy living, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and mentally, so you can fill the ethers with vital vibration. The more you who become healthy and broadcast that vibration, the easier it becomes for others to do the same. Remember, you are in a polarization here. Family of Dark would have you believe that poison, suffering, and pain are the only options, the only choices. When you choose these options, you are broadcasting the frequency into the ethers without consciously realizing it. The choice of peaceful, purposeful, responsible living is always there if you choose to focus on it. It is important to understand that in healing your physical form by making yourself grounded and whole and learning how to build a firm foundation of health, prosperity, and love in your vibration field, you can then stretch out the branches of your blossoming self, grasping what is happening in the rest of the existence. Without firm roots into the living life of Earth, you will be blown away in the winds of change. Yet the energies that would knock you over and shake you up are in actuality here to fortify you. You must find the grace to accept with dignity and gratitude the great lessons that you are creating. Learn from them. The solutions are always very simple and are usually right there in front of you. And they often involve doing the one thing that you resist doing the most. Your lessons also often involve humbling yourself, saying you were wrong and asking for or giving forgiveness. These are some of the hardest tasks for humans to perform. Given 10,000 guns, you would gladly go out and fight a war. But forgive yourself or someone else, a momentous task. The barrier seems greater than the Great Wall of China, insurmountable, going on forever. Nonetheless, you are now faced with meeting those walls of patterns of isolation that the gods laid down for you. When you begin to rebuild and fortify your field, especially if it has been shattered, it is essential to use techniques. Breathe a field of energy around yourself that is shaped like an egg or a sphere. If you want to use another geometric design, that is fine. Fill the shape with intent of what you want to experience and who you are. Learn to create using the vibration of love, for this is your true work. Your health and your work are one and the same. When you build the frequency of who you are, what you want, and what you want to experience in your auric field, it links you then with meaningful 3D occupations. You must, however, first do the work in your auric field. A truly fine healer understands the reality always delivers its message and the lesson land first in emotional field, then in the physical body. Initially, you may have mental ideas, then emotional experiences. Yet it occurs in the field of your energy because it's a spiritual lesson. The energies around you that we refer to are spirit, ether, and energy of life, can either command or obey you. Sometimes its energy commands you to deal with situations, or possibly an opportunity is present through the adversity or loss. Cleverly designed, these disguised messages are hidden in every aspect of living. A healer can sense the message in your field and suggest necessary changes before the energy turns to ailment in the physical body. The discomforts and disease that may move through your physical body are there because you did not deal with them in the mental or emotional body or in the ethers. We ask you please to listen to the messages and let the lessons Spirit wants you to experience. Ideally, your empathy will grow through your own experience. It is in itself a great lesson in living. As you understand your capabilities of what is being asked of you, do not burden yourself by wondering how it will be transpired. As we look through the book of Earth, you will see that the energies sent to you are yours for the receiving. Be open to the idea that you are living in the greatest time of change and you receive these energies. Let them fortify you as the memories of your ancestors begin to run through your cells, calling through time for all to be healed. In this fleeting moment of existence, the power that runs through humankind is remarkable, vast, impeccable, rich, astounding, magnificent, magnanimous, and truly wholesome. And as you awaken to who you are, many will want the same vibration. You must walk carefully. Do not think it is your job to save everyone. There are low energy people, vampires, who would steal your energy, drain you as if they are vacuum cleaners, and leaving you wilted and withered. Be alert to this practice. Your job is to expand your frequency and recirculate and recycle the energy that is all around you, to become a generator of free energy while using it as building block to design what you want and to inspire others to do the same. The best healing you can give to others, whether through the lines of time, with your ancestors and your gods, or here and now with your family, friends, and neighbors, is to feel compassion for the lessons they are currently learning. To truly feel for another, you would say, "Oh, I've been there. I wish you well through this lesson." Holding the frequency open for them. This does not suggest that you pump energy into them, although in certain situations you will most definitely want to produce energy to uplift the vibration of others. Do not mistake yourself as a Messiah. Indeed, You are here to vibrate and to change the foundation of human living. However, you are to inspire and to teach others to manage their frequencies themselves, not to do it for them. The gods have battled over you for eons, changing their names, traveling from one reality to another. Today your gods are movie stars, presidents, political leaders, and royalty. But who are they? What do they really represent? When you look into their eyes, what do you see? The eyes of a truly switched on human will hold a certain spark, a twinkle. The eye of someone who has opened the energy doorways have a great depth of mystery. For the eyes are the window to the soul, and yet they are more. They are your lenses on the world, and those lenses are changing. Many situations you thought were only one way will shift overnight. Nothing is exactly as it appears to be, and that is the truth, as truth goes. Trust others, but also use discernment and apply your psychic abilities to assess all situations. As you learn the power of healing, as you eradicate toxicity from your energy fields, you clean the ethers and attract other energies to yourself, energies that vibrate with love. Like attracts like. Today, the use of deception is possible because you deny your psychic abilities. Deception draws deception. As human beings, you are going to draw energies to you. Your multidimensional selves, astral, incarnates, all kinds of beings. Cultures throughout time have thought of the ancestors as spirits and intermediaries between the living and the dead, because they could feel their ancestors around them. Remember, they did not have modern-day media, motion pictures, and television shows to tell them what their vision should be. They created their own visions and saw their ancestors. Those who have passed over, actually they looked for them. They believed that these spirits dwelt in trees, rocks, and the earth itself, which contained symbolic messages for the deceased. They also believed that how one died would indicate how one would live after death, and how one would return to life. Surely this makes sense. The circumstance of your birth and their effects on you are beginning to unfold in a meaningful pattern. Everything that you experience is imprinted in you. Perhaps you have forgotten incidents in the early part of your life, just as you have forgotten other lifetimes. Yet knowledge is returning, and the importance of every memory becomes paramount to you to recall. Where your ideas came from and who gave them to you. So too will the lines of time open. We want you to feel stable as the fans unfold to the rest of existence, to what you are connected to. It is time for you to meet the gods, not just to hear about them, but to decide for yourself if the gods or goddesses from ancient times are real. Are they magicians? Do they understand how to manipulate reality so they appear to pose and merge with others? You will discover that symbols, tools, and codings that your ancestors left for you will have new meanings. The wave of a genius and the quickening of intelligence are happening very rapidly. Trust this process. Be wise not to cement any idea into reality today, because ideas are bound to be shaken tomorrow. Build your foundation with your physical form, then you will begin to understand what is happening in the heavens, what the comets are, what the great energy waves embody, who builds and flies the spaceships, and from what line of time they jump. Are Atlanteans jumping in and out of their own future? Are Earthlings from the 25th century in the future coming back and changing the now? The countdown during this fleeting moment of time is known by many. The world management team who currently influence your planet is composed of a cluster of families, a few thousand people in number. They rule the industries, banking, media, education, distributions of knowledge all over the globe. It is they, a handful of people, who challenge your freedom. They are connected through their thoughts to other entities, just as you are. The difference is they know it, and you do not for the most part. So they use their tools and techniques to connect you to the entities that they wish to feed. The idea of invisible vampires is not unknown. Remember, the gods take all forms. They come in to teach you and to fulfill their own destiny, which is to learn. How you learn and what lessons you attract in living will be determined by how quickly you learn the lesson in front of you right now. If the energy of the cosmos treats you to a great opportunity to love and forgive, and you do not take it, then you can be certain that you will have the opportunity to face that once again and again until you get it. And sometimes you will find yourself flat on your back, or perhaps flat broke, deflated, with no fizz in your mineral water until you get it. Master the lessons that are in front of you. Embrace the vastness of living and trust the family of dark has its purpose, just as the family of light. Trust that everyone is part of both. All your ancestors are related, and even if you came from a different genetic experiment, you were made in God's own image according to your old texts. That ideology will give you a great clue to your genes, coupled with the discoveries that are being disclosed today about the ability to clone animals. Remember, once anything is cloned, everything can be cloned. Choose to be a healer as you heal yourselves. Your vibrations are felt and will inspire others to heal. The hidden mysteries and secrets that our ruling families of the world management team conceal need to be exposed and examined. Between now and 2012, all cards will be put on the table, the secrets revealed. These secrets, clues, multidimensional living will be revealed for you to use them to heal. As humans, you play out the same dramas as the gods. When you fight here, you support the gods fighting. When you resolve and heal here, then you send the frequencies to your ancestors of ancient earth and of the heavens. You give them an opportunity to change their very expanding now, perhaps by seeding a valiant courage inside yourself. You humans will inspire the gods, and they, with their powers, will vibrate at a higher frequency from your inspirations. Once again, breathe deep, give thanks. Look around your life and know that everything is on time, in order, part of a plan within a plan within a plan. Wake up to it. Decide what you want for your part of the plan, and it will be integrated. Then trust yourself, be in the now, and heal. So the next one we're going to do is the Empire of the Mind, and that'll be tomorrow.